This is Yoga Sue's mini restorative yoga class for stress relief. For our restorative class today, you may need a blanket, a couple of yoga blocks, a bolster or a firm pillow, and perhaps a yoga strap. We begin our practice today in a seated forward bend. Prop your hips up on a blanket to give you a little lift and straighten out those legs in front of you. If you need to pat the under of the knees with another blanket, feel free to do so. We have our legs stretched out, a bolster draped across the thigh, a couple of blocks for a little lift. Allow the upper body to drape forward. Set yourself up for comfort. If that means a couple of blocks above the bolster to allow the forehead to rest on the blocks, do so. You may find that you might not need those blocks. Instead, have the belly drape over your bolster or your pillow and a couple of blocks further in front of that bolster resting on your shin. This allows for the torso to drape over the bolster and the forehead to rest on the blocks. Once you arrive in your comfortable position, begin to relax. The main objective of our yoga practice today is relaxation. Start to zero in on your breath. Allow your belly to rise and fall gently in a steady wave. Each inhale and exhale is slow and steady. Allow your breath to move through your entire body. Let it be smooth and calm. Soften that space in between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Soften your cheeks. Allow gravity to do the work for you. Feel your collarbones spread wide. Allow your hips to settle and soften your legs and your arms. Allow for the long periods of silence to keep you connected to your pose. Keep bringing yourself back to different sensations of your breath, the sound, the depth, the temperature of the air drawing in and drawing out. Breathe deep into the low back. At any time in our practice today, if your body gives you the signal that you need to come out of the pose, please make sure that you do. You are welcome to modify or just come out and relax and rest. Today we focus on the breath, allowing the breath to calm the mind. Get used to not doing much, not moving. Just allow yourself to be. Fill up the back of the body with your breath, the low back, the middle, and the upper back. As we come into the halfway point of this pose, feel free to readjust your props. You might find a little bit more softness, and you may be able to start removing some of those props. You are also welcome to remain as you are and just focus on the breath, focus on relaxing and just being. Take about 5 more deep breaths in this pose. Start to slowly make your way out of seated forward bend. Press your way up into seated. Our next pose is going to be a wide-kneed child's pose. Make sure you're comfortable having your knees on the floor. So if it means you need to add more padding under those knees with your blankets, do so. You might have to place a block under the hips in between the feet if your hips don't rest comfortably on your heels. See if it feels comfortable to have a bolster under the torso. Place the bolster in between the knees and set up the bolster at an incline by propping the bolster up on a block or two. I will let you know when we're halfway through the pose, so if you want to place one cheek on the bolster to relax, you can certainly do so instead of placing the forehead on your bolster. You can either thread the arms underneath the bolster or place your hands on either side of your bolster to relax that way. Find a position that works for your body, and once you're there, settle in, allow the hips to grow heavy. Consciously relax the shoulders and face. As we come to the halfway mark of this pose, you may want to switch the cheeks around if you have one cheek rested on your bolster. Once you've switched, settle in once again and enjoy this pose. Feel yourself sink deep, grow heavy, and relax. Final few breaths in wide-kneed child's pose. And very carefully press your way up out of child's pose. Take your time to slowly move and set up for our next pose, which is our supported bridge pose. It is really comfortable to have a blanket or a pillow under the head just to support the head. And the easiest way to come into supported bridge pose is to start off with the bolster under the knees as you come down onto your back. And then bend the knees, place the feet on the ground. Pick up the hips so that you can carefully slide the bolster under the hips. You may want to just remain where you are with the knees dropped towards one another, and that should feel really good. Or you can try stretching one leg out at a time, keeping one knee bent and one leg straight. And I will let you know when we're halfway through so that you can switch those legs around. If you find that it's okay to stretch both legs out, and if this gives you a nice relaxing stretch to the front of the hips, you can try this version as well. Keep the bolster under the hips, stretch those legs out, and allow the hips to sink into your bolster. Soften your facial features, relax the arms, and continue with that slow and steady and relaxing breath. Just as before, if you feel uncomfortable, feel free to walk the feet in a little closer towards the bolster. We've reached the halfway point. If you have one leg stretched out, you can switch it around so that the other leg is straight instead. At this point, if you have both legs stretched out and it is too much to keep those legs in the same position, you're welcome to walk the feet in, even have the knees drop towards one another, and stay here and enjoy. Take about 5 more deep breaths. To come out of this pose, come into a bridge pose, walking the feet in a little closer towards the bolster. Press down into the floor so that you can safely move the bolster towards your knees. It might feel good to roll over to one side and rest in a fetal position just for a moment. And when you're ready, you can start to set yourself up for supported fish pose with the option of coming into cobbler's pose. Set up your bolster at an incline. You can use your blocks to set it up so that your bolster is at a great incline. This is where the strap can come in handy. If you have a strap handy, you can wrap the strap around your waist and then around your knees so that the knees are supported in cobbler's pose. Alternatively, I prefer to have the strap around the waist and the feet. Once you're ready to come into your cobbler's pose, have your hips right up against the bolster and lay down on that bolster so that the bolster is along the length of your spine. Allow the knees to drop open. Stretch those arms out at around shoulder height or chest height so that you get a good stretch, a good opening through the front of the body. And once you're here, relax and breathe. Final few breaths left to go. Slowly make your way out of supported fish pose to come into Savasana. You can set up Savasana however you like, just on your back with those legs stretched out and arms by your side. Or you can set it up the way I have it here in a supported version of Savasana. Blankets or pillow under the head, a bolster under the knees, and a couple of blocks to elevate the feet up just a little higher. Once you're here, allow the entire body to sink deep into your space. Find yourself growing heavier and sinking deeper. Give yourself permission to relax and enjoy your Savasana. Slowly begin to find your way out of Savasana. You can move your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. It might feel good to just roll over to one side, perhaps your right side, and rest in a fetal position just for a few moments. When you are ready, come on back up to a comfortable seated position. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this mini restorative class, and namaste.